My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name? But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time to all these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. You will when I'm finished talking. You're wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are, in fact, Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately, it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. All right. Good morning. We're going to go through the docket as quickly as we can so that we can start on the jail docket. 2021 CR 19158, State versus Matthew Aldridge. Are you Matthew Aldridge? Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact, Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
The video opens in a haze of confusion. A man stands before Judge Simpson, but instead of cooperating, he refuses to identify himself, claiming he has no name and immediately questioning the court's authority. It's clear this is no ordinary hearing. What unfolds is a classic example of a sovereign citizen attempting to disrupt judicial proceedings with pseudo-legal rhetoric. Judge Simpson remains composed. He firmly states that if the man is, in fact, Matthew Lynn Aldridge, this is his final chance to resolve the matter before it proceeds to trial. The courtroom is full, with other citizens patiently awaiting their cases, and the judge's frustration is evident. The hearing is already behind schedule due to a conflict on the court's calendar, and now, progress is further stalled by the man's refusal to engage with the process in good faith. What might seem like simple legal confusion is, in reality, a strategic effort to undermine the court using fringe ideology. Hallmarks of sovereign citizen tactics, denying legal identity, rejecting the court's jurisdiction, and challenging its legitimacy, are on full display. But Judge Simpson is unshaken. With steady authority, he steers the proceedings forward, refusing to be drawn into a game of semantics and delay. This moment is just the beginning of a legal drama that exposes the challenges courts face when ideology meets the rule of law.
And what does that mean?
His authorization to do legal work.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name? Pardon?
I'm an attorney of fact for the respondent to the hearing.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
I do not at this time.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on.
When the man is asked if he is Matthew Aldridge, he avoids a direct answer, instead claiming to be the attorney of fact. That immediately sets off alarms. In a criminal court, only two parties have a right to speak on a case, the defendant or a licensed attorney. The title he invokes has no standing, especially without a formal power of attorney, which is only applicable in civil matters. Judge Simpson addresses the issue with clarity. If the man has no legal credentials and no documentation granting him the authority to act on someone else's behalf, he cannot participate in the case. The judge asks whether he holds a power of attorney. The man concedes he does not. That alone ends the argument. The court does not entertain fictional roles or made-up legal theories. Its duty is to uphold actual law and procedure. Without valid documentation, the man's role dissolves into irrelevance. The attempt to hijack the hearing with pseudo-legal language is fully exposed. Yet the judge remained composed and measured. There is no aggression, only authority. His focus is clear: to steer the hearing back on course, restore order, and prevent the proceedings from being derailed by confusion or defiance.
Legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge.
Why don't we report the $7,000 document?
Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me.
Have a copy of it.
Oh, apparently there's a copy here.
Yeah.
All right. This is in the state of Tennessee of Cheatham County and Chancery Court, which is filed in the wrong county because in the wrong court, because this is circuit court. You just be quiet.
You go to the courthouse, it comes up.
You need to listen to me instead of talking, okay? This is a challenge to the standing. The Supreme Court of the United States has stated that no corporation has standing anything to man. And then there's a quotation for Rundle versus Delaware Raritan Canal Company. And then it said, as well as it being a maximum law, citing certain Latin phrases, dissimilar things ought not to be joined by a definition of Black's Law Dictionary. So the respondent in error requires that the state of Tennessee Incorporated and Cheatham County Chancery Court prove their standing to proceed against a man in any court of law. You have 15 calendar days to prove your standing or forever yield to it.
The man presents a document riddled with issues. It's filed in the wrong county, submitted to the wrong court, and loaded with outdated legal references, missing terminology, and irrelevant South Supreme Court citations. This is textbook sovereign citizen strategy, using obscure, misapplied case law and convoluted language to confuse, delay, or derail legal proceedings. Judge Simpson takes a moment to read from the document aloud, pointing out that it relies entirely on civil law, an immediate red flag in a criminal case. Civil statutes do not override the authority of a criminal court. The judge makes it clear, even if the filing were procedurally correct, it would still hold no weight in this hearing. Citing 19th century canal company lawsuits doesn't halt a 21st century criminal trial. With calm but unmistakable authority, the judge dismisses a document for what it is: legally powerless. There is no magic paper that can make criminal charges disappear. This portion of the hearing becomes a teachable moment. Real legal authority stems from current, applicable law, not from cherry-picked or misunderstood pieces of legal history. As the proceedings continue, the court becomes more direct. The man before the bench has no valid legal standing, and the trial will proceed regardless of any paperwork cloaked in confusing or irrelevant legal jargon.
Was requested. And then this was signed by Matthew O'Neill Aldridge. Is that your signature?
That's the respondent in error.
All right. Well, I find that Matthew Neal Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge. If you are, in fact, Matthew Neal Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee, and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee.
At this point in the hearing, Judge Simpson turns directly to the core of the disruption. With clarity and precision, he dismantles the tactics being used, calling out the sovereign citizen approach for what it truly is: a baseless legal maneuver built on misinterpretations and irrelevant statutes aimed at undermining the court's authority. He explains, with unwavering authority, that criminal proceedings cannot be challenged or halted by submitting civil filings or citing civil case law. This courtroom operates under the framework of the U.S. Constitution, the Tennessee State Constitution, and the body of laws established by duly elected legislators. That's a legal reality, one that can't be bypassed with obscure legal jargon or pseudo-legal theories. As the judge continues, his tone sharpens, not in anger, but in purpose. His message is direct. The court is not deceived or distracted by documents filled with lofty-sounding, but legally empty phrases. There is no loophole here. No argument, no matter how verbose or arcane, can erase the court's jurisdiction. This moment becomes a powerful assertion of judicial integrity. While the man persists in challenging the process, the judge meets each objection with grounded logic and actual legal precedent. The courtroom isn't shaken, it's anchored in real law. In the end, the sovereign citizen argument crashes into an immovable truth. The law is not based on fantasy, and this trial will continue, not on imagined interpretations, but on the firm foundation of legitimate legal authority.
Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Is that an Article 3 trial?
If what?
Will that be an Article 3 trial? A trial by jury, with jury?
It would be a trial by jury, certainly it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Led Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time that all of these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. You will when I'm finished talking. You're wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are in fact Matthew Led Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, but unfortunately it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have a...
Since the original trial can't proceed due to a scheduling conflict, the judge announces a new date, July 15th, but not before giving a very direct warning if the real Matthew Aldridge does not appear by July 8th to settle the case or confirm his plea, the court will revoke his bond and proceed with the case while he is in custody. That's a powerful message of time for games is over whether the person in front of the court is Matthew Aldridge, or just pretending the judge doesn't care anymore. He makes it simple. If Aldridge doesn't show up on July 8th, jail is next. There are no loopholes left to hide behind at this point. The courtroom is watching what was once confusion turn into total clarity. The judge is now in full control, and there's no room for sovereign citizen arguments anymore. The court has been more than fair, but now it's time for accountability. The sovereign citizen path has run out of road, and a hard deadline is in place. The countdown to compliance or consequences has officially begun.